Hey everybody, happy finals week. I am doing my project over water and its significance in Beasts of the Southern Wild. I have my cup of water right here. So to start off with, I thought we would discuss when water is seen in the visual text. So first off, water is used to separate the upper and middle classes from the lower class that live in the bathtub. That's where Hushpuppi, her dad, and her family live. And so what separates it is something called a levee. And so that's one of the sort of main key places where water is seen. We also see the water play a big role when Hushpuppi and her dad are seen riding in the boat a lot. So for instance, when after the storm or hurricane came and flooded, Hushpuppi and her dad rode around in the boat to see what damage was done. And then when the hurricane hit, Hushpuppi and everybody who lived in the bathtub were forced by the government to evacuate and were taken to a shelter. So now that we've went over when water is seen in the film, we can now discuss the symbolism that's seen with water in the film. Two of the main ones that I analyzed were one, water representing fear of the unknown, and what is to happen if climate change and global warming were to take a turn for the worse. The second one was land rights and wealth. And so for the first one, water representing fear of the unknown, we see in the film that Hushpuppi and her dad and their friends live in the bathtub amongst the water. So they are seen to being fearless and not being afraid of what could happen, whereas the people that live on the other side of the levee are kind of playing it safe. So that was one aspect of that one. And then the other was the land rights and wealth. And this is seen in the instance of when Hushpuppi and her dad and their friends and family were forced out of their home in the bathtub and into a shelter after the hurricane hit. Had they been a part of the middle and upper classes, like the people who didn't live in the bathtub, they might have had more of an opportunity to fight for their land and stay in their community. But they were seen to be a little more impoverished than the people who lived on the other side. So what does water represent outside of the film? Water is one of the more demanded and needed resources that we have in the world. About 71% of our Earth's surface is covered with water, and it's one of the most depleted resources that we have in the world. We as a society allow our bodies of water to be polluted because we're unwilling and scared of change. The number one most polluted body of water in the world is the Pacific Ocean. The main cause for this is sewage, and that's a human cause. This pollution destroys multiple ecosystems, multiple natural habitats for the animals in the ocean, and overall, water is something that we need for our everyday life, yet it's something that we as a society are the most willing to deplete, and we as a society can learn a lot from the interaction between the object of water and its significance in the film Beasts of the Southern Wild in relation to the real world. So the people in Beasts of the Southern Wild are afraid of the unknown, which is water, and that's what separates Hushpuppi and her family from the upper and middle classes. Fear of the water is what causes the government to try and force Hush Puppy and her dad out of their community instead of staying and fighting for their home. Global warming and climate change is a real problem in our society, and being afraid of what might happen if it gets worse is what causes us to stay complacent as a society instead of tackling the problem head on, and we see that in the film. So that's a very valuable lesson for us to learn and apply to real life and real world problems. Thank you for watching.